Tom Thibodeau got fired after leading the New York Knicks to their first conference finals appearance in 25 years. There's a lot of complaints from Knicks fandom about this decision, but was it the right call? And can Minnesota do any better? Can Rudy Gobert be anything but mediocre? Did the Timberwolves make the right call trading for him? They might be preparing to ship him to the Lakers this offseason. The NBA Finals matchup is set. The Oklahoma City Thunder are clashing with the Indiana Pacers in the battle of the small markets. Let me tell you why the OKC Thunder are your 2025 NBA champions. Hint hint, it's this guy, you know, the MVP. Plus, the Kevin Durant trade rumors are heating up and it's not even the offseason yet. And apparently the Phoenix Suns want nothing to do with Bradley Beal. So let's get into it. So, the Knicks fired the coach that led them to their best finish in 25 years. Why would they do that? Well, it's because Leon Rose and company know that they can't get any more success out of this team. This is a firing that happened because somebody needed to take the blame, somebody needed to be the scapegoat.
The New York Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau.
And when you look at it from the standpoint of him being gone, it's like a scapegoat mentality.
Let's not forget, it was Leon Rose who gave up 5 first-round picks for McCall Bridges. It was Leon Rose who traded for Karl Anthony Towns, knowing he was a defensive liability, and knowing that your head coach at the time in Tom Thibodeau was a defensive-minded coach.
You traded 5 picks to get Mikal Bridges. That wasn't on Tom Thibodeau. That was on Leon Rose. You traded 5 picks, 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges. You traded Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, along with an additional first-round pick for Karl Anthony Towns.
That's literally what I just finished saying, Stephen A. Smith. Okay, but it still doesn't make sense. Why fire the head coach that's brought you the most success in the last 25 years?
I'm somebody that has been very critical of him in terms of his lack of use of his bench, not really prepping guys to really be able to contribute come playoff time. Tibbs would have a hard time playing 9 dudes in a baseball game.
Because that's as far as you were going to go with him. History has shown you that Tom Thibodeau is not a finals-bound coach. That's not to say he doesn't have the experience to get there, but there's other things around him. Player workload, in-game adjustments, bench management, which are the reasons why he hasn't gotten to the finals before. It's maddeningly infuriating that a good coach is so stubborn to the point where he arguably coaches himself out of a job. But the biggest reason why the Knicks fired their head coach is because they have no choice. The Knicks won't have a chance to rebuild or draft quality players since they own so little of their own draft picks and traded a bunch of first rounders away for a player who's never even made an all-star appearance. But seriously, 5 first-round picks for not even an all-star? What were the Knicks thinking? It looks like they're forcing their way forward and need to either retool on the fly or condemn themselves to settling for what is most likely their most successful playoff run for the next decade. Don't hate me, Knicks fans. Seriously, looking at the East, it's going to be a challenge to get to the Eastern Conference Finals again. The Cavs and Celtics look like perennial contenders. The Pacers have shown they can handle the Knicks, and the Pistons and Magic are only getting better. Those are 2 young teams on the rise. Plus, if Giannis is traded and stays in the East, that team is going to be another potential roadblock. And that's just looking at roster construction. The Knicks still have to find a head coach who can take this roster to the absolute limit, and honestly, that might have been Tom Thibodeau. This team just isn't equipped to go on a deep playoff run as currently constructed, and the problem is that they can't do much to change it because of their draft capital and salary cap situation. Maybe the Knicks can end up trading for Giannis or Kevin Durant, who knows? And what about Minnesota? Their season was hardly a disappointment, but somehow it seems like they went out with a whimper and not a bang. Kinda like when a little chihuahua sees a big Rottweiler and craps itself on the spot. It was just messy, squishy, and a smelly affair for the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert certainly stunk it up in this series and in the playoffs as a whole. Historically, he underperforms in the playoffs dating back to his days on the Utah Jazz. I mean, seriously? This is what you're paying $35 million a year for? And I can't believe this guy actually made an all-NBA team. He made multiple of them, in fact. That means he beat out names like Allen Houston, Miles Turner, Fred VanVleet, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Serge Ibaka, Rasheed Wallace, Zach LaVine, Andre Iguodala, Brooke Lopez, CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and the list goes on. Wow, there's a lot of NBA champions on that list. Now, why am I talking about Rudy Gobert so much? Well, it's because the Lakers apparently are interested interested in him, and there's been reports that they want to trade for the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know what the Lakers are hoping to get out of him, to be honest. So why do I think the OKC Thunder are going to be NBA champions? Well, apart from having the reigning MVP who's averaging close to 30 in the playoffs, I think the OKC Thunder are a nightmare matchup for the Indiana Pacers. The Thunder have better matchup personnel, have a great defense, and can limit the Pacers at their game, which is playing with pace. Getting pressed full court by Alex Caruso or Luguentz Dort only to get switched on to SGA or Kayson Wallace, and if you manage to get past those guys, you have Chet waiting for you at the rim. That all sounds like an absolute nightmare. And I think the Grizzlies, Nuggets, and Timberwolves would all agree. Now, if you're coming here after game 1, don't get your panties in a twist. Yes, the Pacers won game 1, but let's be honest, who is actually giving this team a chance to win? It's certainly not me, and it certainly doesn't change what I'm saying. Thunder are taking it in 5. I do have to give the Indiana Pacers credit for at least taking one game though, but in all seriousness, this should be a really good finals matchup with two small market teams. Who knows which way it's gonna go? I do. It's Oklahoma City. They're taking it in 5. Now that the Phoenix Suns have a new general manager, it looks like their goal is set on trading Kevin Durant. The Knicks had a package for KD at the trade deadline, but both sides weren't able to come to an agreement. The Rockets are apparently a potential landing spot for Kevin Durant. However, according to Kelly Iko of The Athletic, the Rockets are also interested in Giannis. And I don't know about you, but I know which one of those two I would much rather have. It's Giannis. It's Giannis, definitely, all the way, 100% Giannis. Now, that doesn't mean that Kevin Durant doesn't have any trade value or that he's an unwanted asset. I mean, he averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in the 24-25 season. But the reality is that Kevin Durant is 36, turning 37. Despite how other aging stars like LeBron James and Steph Curry have managed to maintain their health, that's not really the norm across other players in the league. Once you hit your 30s, age, fatigue, and injuries begin to pile up. It's no fault of the players, it's just kind of the natural way that all professional sports work. There's a few exceptions and some of the greats that continue on with their longevity, but overall, as you age, you continuously decrease in your skill, ability, and power. Kevin Durant is definitely not washed, averaging over 25 points per game. It's more about the question of if you want to give someone of that age a long-term contract, and that's most likely what Kevin Durant will be looking for. Let's take a look at the 15 most expensive contracts in the NBA this past season. You can see great NBA players on this list like Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Giannis, and LeBron. And here we have that same list highlighting the players that are under 30. There's not that many on this list. Also, just taking a look at the top 15 most paid players in the NBA, oh my god, that's a ridiculous amount of money. Honestly, even though Kevin Durant produced this last season, I don't know if I would give up too many assets in a trade to acquire him. I don't think the expectation can be that he's going to produce at that same level going forward, and even though we have LeBron who's leading the way and showing that longevity is possible, I think he's the exception and not the rule. And apparently the Phoenix Suns are absolutely not interested in having Bradley Beal return next season, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that shapes out with his contract. And that no trade clause is really hurting right now. The Wizards really signed Bradley Beal to one of the worst contracts in NBA history. Absolute insanity. Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, $251 million contract with the Washington Wizards, including all $251 million guaranteed. Oof. And to be honest, this contract wouldn't be that bad if Bradley Beal just wasn't playing that awful. I mean, if he was playing even a little bit like Washington Wizards Bradley Beal, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But yeah, he's just absolute butt cheeks ever since he moved over to the Suns. And he's only going to be 32 in the 25-26 season, so is there a chance that he turns it around? No, there's not. Oh, Aaron Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow, just what Steelers fans wanted to hear. I mean, listen, I think you can honestly say that this is exciting looking at what your starting quarterback situation would have been without signing Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I just don't know if there would have been enough from the quarterback position for the Steelers to have success this year. Or, I mean, maybe even just win a playoff game. That's all I have for you guys today. Does OKC have any chance of bouncing back in game 2? Are the Pacers officially the comeback kings of the NBA? Where is Kevin Durant landing this offseason? Tell me about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoy NBA content and whatever else is going on in sports.